Welcome to our staff training on communicating with parents. In this training, we'll talk about communication. At Regina Caeli, we are co-teachers with the parents. This means communication is key. The communication practices we're about to discuss will set you up for a successful year and help you to communicate with confidence. In the next 30 minutes, we'll go over email communication about students, how to address parent concerns, and how to talk positively about the media policy in uniform. Lastly, we'll discuss when a parent meeting might be appropriate and how to facilitate it. So sit back and get comfortable, and we'll get started. At Regina Caeli, effective communication with parents is key to supporting the parents in homeschooling. Remember, the parent is the primary educator and has the greatest love and care for the student. The parents know their child the best. I'd like to share with you this quote from Pope John Paul II, which he wrote in his letter to families in 1994. The Church wishes to carry out her educational mission above all through families, who are made capable of undertaking this task by the sacrament of matrimony, through the grace of state which follows from it, and the specific charism proper to the entire family community. When communicating with parents, you are the expert on Regina Caeli, and the parent is the expert on their own child. Communication with parents should be frequent and positive. Form the habit of sending a weekly email to all the parents when possible. Group emails should be general and should just give an idea of what happened in class that week. Think about, were there any moments of discovery when all the students made a connection or mastered a concept? Or did the students all exhibit good behavior that day? Or maybe someone asked an excellent question about our Catholic faith or the spiritual life. Are the students all excited about a particular topic you're studying? Share it with the parents. In group emails, share experiences that are academic, or let them know about something practical in class. If there's a test coming up that week, remind them that their student has to study. Also, be sure to use blind copy or BCC when emailing multiple people at once. If you use BCC, a parent cannot reply all and accidentally share information about their own child with the whole group. This helps keep our email communication positive and professional. We support the parent as a team at Regina Caeli. Remember that you are on a team with the CCE and you're working with the support of the RCA National Leadership Team. Well, you might ask yourself, how does the national team help when we might be in another state? Well, that's a great question. First of all, the National Leadership Team has created all the resources that you use locally. That includes the curriculum, schedules, supply processes, classroom management, even the support infrastructure that you have. We have all worked at the local center level, and we're still very involved at our local centers where we're located. This means that we have a huge vault of experience and information to share with you on a day-to-day basis. When it comes to running a Regina Caeli center, we've been there and done that. We've learned from many years of seeing centers flourish or struggle. So if you're facing a concern or difficulty with a student or a parent, we likely have seen it before, and we're here to help. Because of this wealth of experience, we can oftentimes see when a problem is on the horizon before it escalates. You might not always see us, but we're right there behind your CCE and CCO helping them. We can only prevent a problem if we see the day-to-day. That means that in a sense, we have to be at the local center with you. Of course, we can't always do that. So the way we simulate this is by requiring all staff members to copy your CCE on RCA email communication. This simulates you being in the office with the CCE. Then if the CCE gets looped into a concern, he or she can get advice from their national team member. That's the RME or the RMO. And then we can be proactive in supporting you. So please copy your CCE on all emails that are RCA communications. After all, this is what your RCA email is for Regina Cheely Business. Remember, as you go through the year and as you copy your CCE, we want you to succeed. We want you to look like the expert to the parent, and we want all your parent interactions to be positive and helpful. So we are always here to help with the best of intentions. There are other ways we're able to support you on the national leadership team as well. Every tutor will have a bi-weekly check-in call with your CCE. To make the most of these calls, come prepared and ask good questions and take notes. You only have a check-in call with your CCE once every 2 weeks, so make it focused time. Have a list of questions ready and try to have an activity for your own children to do while you're on the phone, just to cut down on distractions. Okay, so we've talked about being proactive in emails to parents. What should you do when a parent has a question or concern? Well, first, get the answer from your CCE. If the parent asks you a question through email, then reply only when you have the correct answer. This means you'll need to contact your CCE to get the answer, or you can ask your CCE on your check-in call. If it's in person, you can say, "I'm not sure, but let me find out and I'll get back to you." Sometimes a parent might contact you because they disagree with a policy at Regina Cheely, or they think a grading practice should be different, or maybe they think that we ought to run an event differently. We always like to hear parent feedback. But how should you respond in this particular situation? Well, I think there can be pressure here to respond too quickly and to empathize with the parent, but rather we need to provide leadership for the parent. After all, that's why they came to Regina Cheely in the first place. If they wanted to make all the decisions themselves, they could have gone to a co-op. So some common mistakes tutors make are to first agree with the parent by saying something like, "Oh, I don't understand that either," or "I agree with you, but let's see what our CCE says." Well, avoid agreeing with the parent and then copying your CCE to see what he or she says. This makes it look like you've not been trained. It looks like you don't know what you're doing, and then it causes the parent to doubt your ability to lead their child's class. If the concern is policy related, then it can also look like you don't agree with RCA standards. This sows discord in the local community. So rather, you should find out the big picture first. Why do we have that policy? What is the reason we do it this way? Then you can go back to the parent with a full picture and with confidence. If there is an improvement to be made, it wouldn't be made immediately anyway. We would first have to look at all the ways the change would impact different areas and make changes prudently. RCA practices have been thought through thoroughly, and there is often a reason the policy exists. So when you respond, get the whole picture first. Then you can respond with confidence and build the parents' confidence in Regina Cheely. Our Regina Cheely communities are often very close-knit. You may have friends or godchildren at Regina Cheely. This means you may even already be friends with the parents of children in your class. This is true for me as well, and for most of us who work at Regina Cheely. It is really such a blessing that we can work with and serve those who have such a special connection to our own lives. It will help you to keep your official RCA work separate from your friend time. That might mean that if your friends ask you something about grading in your class or a behavioral issue while you're playing at the park, you can tell them, "Well, please send me an email about it and we can certainly set up a time to talk." Or you can say, "Please send me an email about it so I can get some advice before making a recommendation." Think of these situations ahead of time and anticipate them, so then you will easily be able to make these decisions when the moment presents itself. Being good friends with parents means there is already a familiarity, so they are likely to text you with questions or if they need something immediately. However, if you let this play out, then it will quickly infringe on your own homeschool time or personal time, and you will feel like teaching at Regina Cheely is too burdensome. We want you to teach at Regina Cheely and to have RCA life balance. Also, this is when mistakes are made. When we answer questions or respond to concerns through text, mistakes are made and then you're flying solo. Your RCA support team does not get involved and cannot help you in the situation. So what do you do when a parent texts you? Well, if they're in need of a classroom resource that you were supposed to send them, or that you were supposed to print the day before in class, then go ahead and email it to them. That was our mistake as Regina Cheeley staff, so we need to rectify the situation ASAP. But if they have a behavioral concern or ideas about an event coming up, then reply and ask them to email it to you so that you can work on it during your prep time. This is the best way to ensure and to get the answer that you need so that you don't give a hasty response. And if there's a concern that can be addressed, with our experience on the national leadership team, we will be there to anticipate problems and to help you get going on it. This brings us to another topic. When is a parent meeting appropriate? In most cases, the person who can help with parent concerns or extra support is the CCE. This is because topics like the curriculum or special behavior cases like with learning disabilities or issues like with transcript planning are all designed by our national leadership team. So if a parent has detailed questions about these topics, then the CCE is the go-to person. So that begs the question, which topics should a tutor address? Well, you are implementing the curriculum in the classroom and also managing the class on a day-to-day basis. If the parent has questions about how their child is acting in class, the routine for the day, or on an academic note, like which concepts is the child struggling with, then you are the best person to tell them. This might be done over the phone, or you could plan to meet with the parent on your planning period at Regina Cheeley during the center day. Please always let your CCE know if you will have a meeting with a parent. It's important for administrators to know if someone will be on campus, and the CCE might have additional information about what is going on with the student. That will make your meeting more effective. So always let your CCE know if you need to schedule a meeting with a parent so he or she can support it. Remember, you're not alone. We're all in this together. Okay, one last thing. I'd like to give you some tips on talking about the media policy and uniforms. At Regina Cheeley, we always want to be ready to give the reason for the rule. We take St. John Bosco as our example, since he always appealed to the sense of reason in his work with the youth. The reason for the media policy is that we want to place the decision-making about what movies the children watch or what books they read back into the hands of the parent. The parent is the primary educator. They have chosen to have us at Regina Cheeley assist them in the education, but we think they have a right to come to Regina Cheeley without getting pressure from other children to watch a certain movie or read certain books. So at RCA, we only talk about books in our curriculum or the RCA Good Books list. We also avoid discussing pop culture, TV shows, movies, video games, and music that is not part of our curriculum. Students also cannot have cell phones at the center or at an RCA event. So the way I talk about this with students, though, is different. I ask them, have you ever been left out of a conversation or belittled because you can't watch a movie that the other children, that your friends are allowed to watch? Every time I've asked this question, the child has said yes. Pop media and also fad styles and dress are often the cause of bullying and isolation for children. This has only become more so with the advent of social media and chat groups. So the media policy and the uniform create a space at Regina Cheeley where the child can be loved and known for who they are and not what movie they watch or whether they're allowed to have a cell phone. We all want to be known and loved for who we are, for the way that God made us to be. So this explanation really speaks to children of all ages. Well, this wraps up our Communicating with Parents training. You are all set now to put these plans into action. Then you will have confidence in yourself as a tutor, and you will build the parents' confidence in Regina Cheeley. Be sure to complete the assessment that follows this training, and please know that I will be praying for you as you start the new year.